Welcome back to Tap Tempo with me, Matt Lang. This is the first part of a two-part episode series with Reid Speed. Reid is a DJ. She owns the record label Play Me Records, which specializes in drum and bass, dubstep, and other forms of bass music. This first episode focuses on the business end of the music industry and running a ferociously independent record label in an industry that seemingly makes it harder and harder to be truly independent. The second part is Reid's backstory. She allowed herself to be very vulnerable with me, and it's a powerful story. It's touching, it's heartbreaking at times, and I just truly felt it deserved to stand on its own, so that will air next week. For now, here's Reid and Play Me Records. How many people do you have working for you?
Well, Des manages the label, and then Kian does our graphics, and then Anthony does our videos.
Right.
So I guess that's it. It's just us. 3
plus you, 4.
Yeah, and then sometime, well, Nate used to do our funny videos, but Nate has a career in music now, so he is blowing up.
Oh, really?
Eliminate?
Nope.
He's been doing a lot of stuff with Twonk and was touring with Brills recently.
Hip hop kind of stuff?
Trap. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But Anthony's really good. He learned how to do the video stuff real quick.
Yeah.
And it's nice to have the people from our team, like our artists, are involved now in the backside of the label, which I think is super cool. Yeah. I always wanted to have it be in a way like that.
Communal.
Yeah, where everyone feels invested in it and everyone... you're more invested in the end goal. If the label does better, it's going to do better for you when your release comes out.
Yeah. And
it's allowed us to focus more on us as artists and not have to spend so much time, just going through submissions or whatever, and really feel good about that we're doing this release and it's not going to just end up being another artist that we do a bunch of good work for and then they just take off after, everyone's sort of committed with us. Obviously, everyone's still free to do whatever they want, but...
They're invested into the label.
Yeah, and it's a good place for everyone to have their stuff come out, and it's good as a team to have this unified thing where it's some of us do dubstep, drum and bass, trap, whatever, but we stand together as Team Play Me.
Right.
Yeah, it feels better. Because I used to have a guy that was the label manager, and he just really didn't like the music. So it was terrible. I was always fighting with him about stuff.
Yeah.
And then I felt I'd have to, I don't want to say talk down to him, but, be his boss and be like, well, I don't really care what you think because this is what we're putting out. So get on board and do the thing.
Right.
So it's nice to not have to have those discussions. Instead, we're actively excited about what we're going to do and what our schedule is looking like and making sure that everyone's got their dates and, we're all really stoked for each other's releases. And, the instant...
You all put out a lot of music, too.
Yeah, we do a release every week. We actually have scaled back. We used to do a paid and a free release every week. But we just kind of realized over time, as SoundCloud has become a deteriorating platform, just the benefit to the artist wasn't really there.
Right.
When we started doing it, it initially gave us a way to help more artists because we could have 2 releases a week instead of just 1. But, if you're not breaking a couple thousand plays in a week, it's not really doing anything for anyone.
Right.
And with SoundCloud getting stricter about bootlegs and remix kind of stuff. And
Spotify kind of took away the point of having a free release.
Sure, exactly. So, and now we are geared more towards Spotify and things like that because, but it's good. It allows us to focus more and do a better job on each release and not be distracted with this other free thing too. And everyone still has time to be their own artists. And so it works out pretty well.
Yeah.
I think so.
Do you ever find there's a competitive nature between the artists because there's so few of them?
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of competition from people who want to be on the label now that we're not letting in as many. I don't know. But within our team, I feel like it's not. If anything, I know a lot of, the dudes are really competitive about their sound designs and whatnot.
Yeah.
Which I think is funny because as the person who's the A&R and who's been DJing the longest, sometimes
You don't give a shit about the sound
I
design.
don't. And I don't give a shit if people have used something that they may have found in a sample pack, as long as they didn't just, rip the sample pack. Like, yeah, okay, I made this one trap lead the entire focus of my song. Sure, that would be kind of corny. But if you're using a thing that was put out in the world for producers to use things to make better songs and you used it, I surely don't care. It's not going to make me not want to sign your tune because you used a Cymatics freaking sample pack thing, bass sound, flute noise, whatever it is. It's like, if you've done something creative with it, cool. Like, I don't. And then another thing, the dudes definitely often will think that something sounds too much like another thing. And half the time when they'll show me the thing that they're referencing, I'm like, this doesn't even sound like that. But then other things, I'll say, oh, that melody sounds just like this song. Oh, really? No way. Like, and then I'll play it for them. They're like, oh, I never thought about that.
I don't think they think a lot about melody, though. I think they're more...
Yeah, probably not. I mean, I'm sure
they're focused more on the bass sound design.
True. They're definitely engineer-y kind of dudes, and for sure. But yeah, they'll often be worried that something sounds too much like something else, and I'm like, yo, I mean, if you really want to get down to it, most of like bro step,
it all sounds the same.
It all sounds the same, and some people have better mix downs than others, but if you've mastered certain sound design and serum and whatnot, I mean, that's the format, Yeah. It's not a super creative genre in that sense. Like the creativity comes in with the rhythms that you choose and the type of things that you accentuate these things with, not the fact that, oh yes, like you've made this vomit noise, like cool. Like,
I want to see someone make vomit noises by actually vomiting and recording it. I had a conversation with that about making a track using a different kind of bodily function, and and name it that, and everyone's going, how did they use serum? How did they synthesize that?
Like, nope, they just farted into a mic.
No, Occam's razor, simplest answer. Like, I literally threw up into the toilet and recorded it 8 different ways.
Gross.
I know, it'd be so funny though.
It would.
I feel like someone should do it just to have a gag.
No pun intended.
Yeah. Ba-doom. Have you guys ever had sample clearance issues?
Yes, we have. We once put out this wonderful song by a group called the McMash Clan, and they signed the contract, and we surely didn't think there were any samples in it.
Yeah.
To be fair, early in the label, it really wasn't a thing. We definitely put out a lot of things that had a lot of not cool samples in it and unclearable. But at the time, it wasn't a thing that anyone was going after. No one was saying, oh, you put one word of Biggie Smalls in your song at the drop. Like, no one cared. But yeah, we did this McMash Clan release, and months later, I think it was EMI, had said, you sampled this Bollywood theme song, and we got in all this trouble. They wanted all this money, but we eventually just settled with them for like everything that the song had made. Right. And that was that.
Which probably wasn't that much in the grand scheme of things.
No, they wanted I think they wanted like $15,000 or something, but the track had made something like $3,000, so we just gave them whatever it had made. And we're like, we're so sorry, but you can't take money from us that we don't even have. Like, we're just a small label. Like, yes, this track did do very well, and now I think it's very laughable to think that any one of the people that bought this song bought it because they thought this was a lovely sample of whatever Bollywood movie none of us knew about. But fair enough, like they sampled it, and
that was that.
Yeah, but then we kind of stopped when SoundCloud became the thing. They were really nice with us. We had a lot of things that shouldn't have been up there, and they let us have a lot more than 3 strikes, and we didn't knock on this table, get our account deleted.
SoundCloud did.
Yeah, we had like 27 strikes. They were just like, yeah, please just get rid of all this stuff.
Right.
But we lost at least 25% of our plays when we had to take down all of the bootlegs and everything. Like the one Dirt Monkey had done a dubstep, like, I don't know if you'd call it a bootleg or if he actually replayed all the stuff, but he did the Imperial March from Star Wars.
Oh, cool.
And it was such a dope rendition. And that alone had at least 1 million plays and got ganked. And they take all the plays away when the song goes away.
What has the most plays of anything on your label?
I don't know.
You should.
I don't know.
Yeah. Look on Spotify.
I mean, what's up there on Spotify right now? I think To the Sky, the song I did with FS a long time ago, has over 1 million.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about a lot of the stuff. Because we released it before Spotify was a thing.
Right.
Like, I haven't even
You haven't paid attention.
I don't even know if it's up there.
Right.
I mean, I'm assuming it is. A lot of the stuff didn't make it up at first. I don't know. There's a bunch of stuff about all the stuff when it's like people you haven't worked with in a long time. A lot of times it like triggers things. If it shows up on some like new platform and you didn't like re-sign the contract.
Right.
Like at first when we were doing the contracts, they were only for 3 years. So a lot of the stuff eventually we just kind of like had to let it go because we didn't renew all the contracts to keep putting the stuff back up. And then, like I said, a bunch of the stuff had a lot of samples in it. So we had to take a lot of our just back catalog of stuff that we had released that just had random samples in it. We just didn't want to get in trouble when it became SoundCloud was monetized and Spotify became a thing. We're like, well, we got to have all of our, T's crossed and I's dotted and make sure that nothing is going to get anyone in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's just weird how fast everything's just moved so fast. Like to think in 2011 or 2012, 90% of our revenue as a label was from Beatport.
Crazy, right?
And then just 3 years later, 90% of it is streaming. Mm-hmm. And there's like almost nothing is sales.
No. Nothing at all.
You just got to keep moving with it and keep adapting to it. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, fuck Spotify. Okay. Don't distribute to the most used platform then if you don't want to.
I know. I have very mixed feelings on Spotify because I do understand that's where the majority of my listeners are. And I do use it myself as a consumer. I think it's from a consumer level, it's brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, it's amazing.
I love it. It's changed the way that I listen to music as just a thing. I didn't even, for so many years, with doing this crazy dance life, there wasn't even a way to learn about music outside of the music that I'm like embroiled in 24/7. Yeah. So I just ignored all these other genres of music, rock, indie, whatever. Occasionally I might hear about some hip hop, but only because someone might play it for me. Now you can just find stuff and their algorithms are so interesting. I love to go down their rabbit holes, and it has made me excited about music again in a way I haven't been since I was a kid.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Like to find bands, like, okay, you're going to laugh about this, but I discovered 21 Pilots and became obsessed with them because of Spotify. Well, I saw them on some TV award show.
It was like Suicide Squad or they had the Suicide Squad song.
Yeah, they were performing that on some award show, but then they played a different song that kind of sounded like drum and bass. And I looked them up and then I started listening. That's what got me started listening to Spotify, because I couldn't find, they didn't exist on SoundCloud or anything in any meaningful way. Yeah. Because they're signed to like a major label. But yeah, just in going down the rabbit hole of 21 Pilots on Spotify led me to so many other music acts that I would have never heard of, and I would have never found them.
Look at your phone. What are the last 5 recent things you searched for?
Oh, God. Oh,
I'll tell you mine. I'm curious. This is going to be embarrassing.
The last things I've searched, but I search for... I search for things often that are things I want.
It doesn't give you like a play history, does it?
Half the stuff I search on Spotify is things to play for my neighbor? Let me see. What did I search for?
Or I guess no. If you go, you can go to recently played.
The last things I searched for is the I Love Drum and Bass playlist, Mudhoney, They Might Be Giants,
cool,
Steven, and then like a bunch of random comedy things.
Okay.
But the things that I played is like I have playlists that I play all the time. I mean, I was playing Stitches all morning, so that was getting played today.
Oh man.
But I'll have days where it's like 90s grunge or like 2000s boy bands or like Pendulum.
Right.
Or East Coast gangster rap.
Isn't KJ Sokka doing some stuff with you guys?
Yeah, we just put out KJ Sokka and The Architect have a release called Hold the Lighter that came out this week.
Okay.
Which is actually killing it right now.
Yeah? Good
Yeah.
for him. He's actually coming here next week.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah.
Beast man.
I've known him for like 10 years.
Sweet.
He played drums on the BT record I worked on.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah. Him and Blake Lewis were like out in Seattle doing it for us.
Blake.
Yeah.
I know that dude.
Yeah. That's
He's
actually
like
how we first met. I figured it out. It was at the Aoki's place that was on Cahuenga. I forget what it was called.
Like Dim Mak Studio?
Dim Mak Studio. That's what it was. And I went with Blake, and you were there. And I'd already released stuff on Play Me, but that was the first time we met in person. And
That's cool.
I pieced it together after I saw you last week.
Yeah, I couldn't remember.
Yeah. And then after that, then it would be with like Larry and T.
Yeah, I don't usually, unless there's some crazy story, I always have to be reminded. Mm-hmm. Like, huh.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
It's not that crazy.
Like, I met Anthony.
Yeah.
Because... So I was at a dubstep party at Los Globos, and his old partner in them Lost Boys, Ian.
Yeah.
Apparently, one of them, someone recognized me, and then I guess Anthony recognized me, and Ian is like a don't give a fuck kind of person.
Yeah.
So he just came up and started talking to me. And because I meet so many people, the way he was talking to me, I just assumed that we had met before and I had just forgotten.
Right.
And he's just talking and something and he was like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Oh, I heard you really like to ride bikes. And I'm like, yeah, I love to ride bikes. Do you like to ride bikes? We should ride bikes. So then we exchanged info or whatever. And then we went on a bike ride the next day, but because he had just met Electrode. He talked me up about these bike rides, and then he's like, "You want to meet Electrode?" And no one had met Electrode. Do you know who Electrode is?
No, what's Electrode?
Okay. So remember in SoundCloud dubstep days, there was a guy who would be the first commenter on every dubstep song with a Pokeball as his avatar.
I didn't personally see that, but I see that all the time on YouTube. So we're different characters.
But this kid was the one. He was first with his Pokeball for years. But it turned out that he was just a child then. So I was free to like comment on stuff because he didn't.
He had nothing else to do.
Yeah. So yeah, at that point in time, I feel like he was starting to do something, whether it was a YouTube channel or I can't remember. But Ian asked me if I wanted to meet Electrode, and of course I wanted to meet Electrode, but then he was a small child and it was so confusing. I don't even know how he had gotten into that club. He must have been like 17 maybe then.
Wow.
Because I don't even think he's 21 now. He might just be. Anyway.
The UKF guy, Luke, he was really young when he started that whole channel.
That's true. Yeah, he was a smart dude.
Yeah.
He knew what he was doing.
Clearly.
Yeah, that was a good one. UKF really did a good job.
Yeah. I just met him in person this year, actually. Because
nice.
I guess he does live in the UK still.
Probably.
Yeah, but he was here with Calix and TP.
I only met him the one time I played before. I want to say that maybe it was Cone Sound. I think it was at South by Southwest.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was all very brief.
Yeah. You're not sad about not going to South by this year, are you?
Not sad at all.
Yeah.
It was so disappointing the last 2 years. It really hurt my soul.
Why?
Because it went from being a place where you could discover new music and hear all this amazing music in a very small geographical area to being infested with people who just want to turn up and don't care about music at all and are just there to party and be ratchet. And it's so not fun to go through the trouble of curating a really amazing lineup. Like, I felt we had done such a good job last year. We had such a cool, interesting lineup, and then we're just getting requests for terrible music all night.
Yeah.
Having the managers be like, you need to appease these people. They're not drinking enough, even though there's a million of them here and there's a line out the door. It was just too much.
Oh, I remember it all too well.
Yeah, it's just really sad. It was such a cool alternative. You know, Miami was always this really douchey thing where it was very expensive and you had to be in with all the right people, and that became unfun a long time ago.
Miami is icky.
Yeah, I never liked it.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed the conference when the conference was still a thing and there was still a lot of small events in South Beach. Yeah. It was actually really fun because you'd have the big ultra type of things, but nothing was corporate. So everything else was done by your friends, and you'd go to one friend's thing one night and another friend, and then you'd see all your friends from around the world that you didn't get to see on vacation. It was always kind of nice.
Yeah.
But then it became more fragmented, and then all of a sudden, if you weren't, represented by a big agent, then you weren't even playing any shows, and then you're just spending a bunch of money to go hang out and hope that you can get into a place where they're going to be snotty to you and be like, oh, you're not wearing heels, like, you're not getting in. Oh, you're wearing too many clothing, like, you can't come in here. Like, only slutty girls get in. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, I don't miss I've been held outside gigs so many times there for not meeting the woman's dress code of the venue.
Even though you're the DJ.
Yeah, they don't care. I give a fuck. They're like, oh, it's a winter music conference. Like, there's 87 other DJs here.
Right.
No one cares if you don't play your 30-minute set because you didn't dress like a hoe. It's like, okay.
That's so ridiculous.
Yeah, so that became unfun a long time ago. But South by was the anti that for a while. It was very... It was cool. Yeah, it was kooky. It was left of center. There was just a lot of good music. You could go from a band showcase to a hip hop showcase to dance music and not spend a bunch of money and not get a bunch of attitude. Like, everyone's friendly. It's a friendly city.
Yeah.
There's really good food, a lot of super perks. Not to say that Miami doesn't have good food, but it's just such a snotty, like, image-oriented city. Where Austin was just a music...
Well, Austin isn't South Beach.
No.
It's not a vacation destination, really.
Right, that's true. And it's not a models and drugs kind of town either.
No, it's really not. It doesn't have the glamour that Miami or South Beach tries to have. But...
That's true.
No, I mean, I just enjoy Austin in general as a city.
Well, now this year I see all these new kind of people making events there, so I guess there's going to be a lot of stuff happening. Yeah.
What have you seen?
Just a lot of the trap, future bassy kind of entities doing showcases, events, stuff. People that I didn't see last year, people that maybe didn't even have artists that were really doing things too much last year that were just kind of on the up. Now they're all doing all the stuff. So, but it's not... None of it looks like serious music things.
Right. Okay.
There's no VIRAM. There's no, that was like one of the things of...
What's a VIRAM?
VIRAM was like in Miami, the Virus and Ram Records party that happened every year.
Okay.
It was always like the most awesomest drum and bass lineup of Winter Music Conference.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but there's nothing, I don't know.
I don't really know. I mean, I know about the thing we're doing, and that's it. And I think, and I'm on the Monday.
Yeah.
Like Monday the 12th or something like that. And then I'm probably going to leave by Wednesday, because I will have been away all weekend anyway before that.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. All the venues that we ever worked with are closed now, so it just seemed real sad to me. I'm like, I don't really want to go there and try to smush in another showcase to another venue with 10 million other things when we don't do turn up trap. Like, no one cares. I don't know.
Right. I don't know what to tell you.
I mean, we can do the turn up trap. It's just like not really the thing that I want.
You don't want to do it.
No, I like making trap. I like playing trap too. It's not even that. It's just people looking for something different. I like to play at events where people are there because they want to hear good music. They want to learn about new music. They want to dance away their problems.
Yeah.
Not like I want to drown my problems in alcohol and attempt to like fuck whatever hole presents itself to me.
Right.
Or doesn't and like get really aggressive. Not the one.
No. I want to go back to Play Me a bit because what we've talked about before is just the difficulty of, I mean, the way you guys function, you are totally your own independent entity. And while that really allows you certain freedoms, whereas you have complete autonomy as far as releasing when you want, doing whatever the hell you want.
Yep.
The issue or the challenge with that also is then feeling like you're locked out of, or not really allowed a seat at the other side of the table where everyone else kind of exists, and you kind of need that seat in order just to, say, tour, move beyond your little bubble.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest challenges of everything that we do, is that just trying to figure out what our place is and how can we... most artists' goal is to make a living off their art.
Yeah.
And yeah, by all the metrics of success that people in dance music use to measure success in dance music, we're ticking all the boxes. We're doing all the things. We consistently release. We have good content to promote the releases. We get coverage from blogs, YouTube channels, reposts. We make DJ mixes, but then, yeah, we're like not allowed to play shows because none of us are affiliated with any agencies. And in the past, when we have, it's their way or the highway. And if you don't get on their way, or if there's any friction between you and their way, then you are off the highway. And I don't know. I don't have an answer. If I had an answer, then we'd all, be
right.
playing EDC this year.
Yeah.
But currently we're not. So.
Hey, I get it. It's amazing because it's so fascinating to me.
Yeah,
because
it's just the worst. It's the worst thing to say that this is the metrics and then everyone does what they are and then they're like, yeah, we don't even see you there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, okay. So then we just got to find another way in.
Right.
I mean, it's weird to say that as someone who's been in the thing for so long. It's like I spent so much time in it and never realized that I was just slowly being pushed out of it until one day I was like, oh, I'm outside of this. I have nothing to do with this.
What do you think was the root of being pushed out?
Let's think of the right way to answer this. I mean, as we learned last week, I have a very aggressive tone in my voice that gets used. And when I am passionate about things, I tend to get very excited and excitable. And although if you're a man and you possess these qualities, you tend to be viewed as a genius or someone who is gifted and has a talent and is, passionate. If you're a woman, you become difficult and hard to work with and dramatic and overly excited, and all of these really negative things that for a man would all be positive are not viewed that way when you're a woman. And not even that's what it's about. That's just a part of it, where when you're a woman and then you rub all these people the wrong way, but you're trying to make the same moves and you're existing in the same space, you know, it can really rub people the wrong way. And then they're like, oh, well, whatever she's doing, like, I want that for myself. And then they will, you know, people wanted certain things that we were doing and they used positions that they were in to get it. And then by me not going along with it, they turned a lot of people against me from the inside. And then it was like, okay, cool. Well, now I got to go back outside and then rebuild my team.
And that's got to be heartbreaking.
It is, especially since it was a number of times that it happened over and over again. It wasn't just like one particular incident. It was just a pattern, a systematic pattern of like disenfranchising, like taking away everything. When we would, if I would find an artist, then someone else would take them. And then, oh, but they need to keep getting booked. So they need to just go along with whoever's telling them what moves they need to make. They need to make those moves to keep their job, and everyone's out for themselves. And while that's understandable, it's really hard if you're decided to be someone that the people who are in charge don't like, and they don't want you to be the winner. Like, that's the thing right now. If you are chosen to be the winner, you can be the winner. You don't need to have any of the skills. Like, we put in all this work and do the work and have the skills and have the product to back it up. But that's not even really the prerequisite to getting in the door. It's just like
whoever is crowned.
Yeah. So if you are down with the right people and you have the right people talking for you and representing you and having the conversations for you, it's a lot easier to get a seat at the table. Now, it's almost impossible if you're not already in with these people. No one's going to just decide to pick you up. No one's going to, like, as a new artist, that's possible. But as a legacy artist, that's just not a thing. No one's going to just decide today that someone who's been doing it for 20 years is like the newest sensation in whatever's happening.
Right. Well, you're not moldable.
No, and not to say that anyone ever really tried. I mean, certainly people have offered to do things that I didn't want to do.
Well, that's what I mean, though. After you've been doing it for long enough, you're very set in your ways.
Yeah, for sure. But that's the thing. That's why you can't have a seat at the table, because if you're set in your ways and the ways of the people who have the power don't coincide, then you're not going to be sitting with them.
Right.
And you can't sit with them, and they will make sure that you can't even like get in the space. You have to literally just find the cracks between where all these major power players of EDM have taken over.
You know what's fucking amazing about all this? Just take EDM, take dance music, just take that part of the equation, throw it out. It's high school.
Yeah,
That's all it is.
Absolutely.
Nothing changes. You have the cool kids and you have the nerds.
And that's the saddest part about all this. What has happened with EDM for me is literally, I got into this entire scene because I disliked what life was offering me, and I sought an alternative to what was being presented and what the homogenous monoculture of teenage life. And to find this escape from that, to find a place where weirdness was celebrated, and it was not about a look or whatever, being cool. Like, people came together to dance, to have fun with new music. It was very exciting. And then, and it was so refreshing to have a place away from all of bullshit life. And then with EDM becoming EDM and all this money coming into it, literally all those fucking people that we wanted to get away from are now in charge, because those people are motivated by money. And people like us who are weird artists were never motivated by money. And sure, that's why, for all those years we were so unsuccessful, because we didn't care about the money. And it's like, no, all we ever cared about the money was to make enough money so that we can live
and keep doing
comfortably and doing our art, so we don't have to work at some horrible job. And it's become increasingly harder to be able to do that, which is really sad because you would think in this day and age where now music is so accessible and the barriers to entry are so much lower. That you would get to see the weird people getting to also make a living. Because there's so much, you know? If you've got freaking whoever, Steve Aoki, making $60 million a year, like, that dude does not need $60 million a year.
No.
You know, if he took only $50 million and let the other 10% be split up between all of the artists like us who are just trying to make an honest living, we could all be eating really good.
Sure.
But I don't know what it is that makes people so greedy. And I don't...
Well, I think it's... And this isn't exclusive to the music industry. As you add more and more people into the pot, the 1% therefore has to make that much more money than everybody else. And it grows at an exponential rate.
I guess I just really hoped that what we were creating in our alternative reality was an alternative to that bullshit, because we can tell from real life that doesn't work. Like, it's unsustainable. Eventually capitalism is going to get overthrown because it's a shit business model. Like, you can't, like, they sell you on a dream that, oh, if you work hard, you can make it. But that's not true. The reality of capitalism is almost the same as being born into a caste system in India. Like, if you're born into a socioeconomic stratus, you're not likely to be able to earn your way out, work hard to get out. It's just, of course, we all like point to the few success stories as evidence that it is possible, but that's more like the outliers.
Those are the outliers. Absolutely. And I think it's important to have those as someone to look up to and someone to gain inspiration from.
Yeah, but that's not...
That's not the norm.
But I really hoped that that's what we were building. And then in the past few years, it seems very sadly that that's not, although I see hope with things like Play Me, just even that we are an outlier. Like, we are shut out by everyone, but we still do really well as a label. Our label has only ever been profitable. We've never had a year where we lost money from the minute that we started. So we're definitely doing something right. And it gives me hope that as I see this sort of EDM bubble kind of bursting, or people sort of becoming less, you know, part of EDM will get swallowed by pop, but then what is underground, I feel there is always going to still be a demand for this counterculture, for the alternative to the bullshit that is being presented by the rest of the world.
Have you guys ever thought about bringing in your own in-house agent for Play Me?
I mean, we would love to, but we don't. I
don't really know how you would do that, but I mean, there's got to be.
We certainly have tried, but it never really worked out that way. Really, the thing is, you just need to find a young, like, hungry person that's new, who's making the moves, and align yourself with them when they're on their way up.
Right.
You know, unless eventually we get to a point where established agents can't deny what we've done and can get past.
Well, and then they're calling you at that point.
Right.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, that's how it's always been, is more that you don't go looking for an agent. An agent comes looking for you.
Yeah.
So if no one's currently looking for you, okay.
Yeah, right.
You know, you got to just handle your shit yourself then until the time comes. But I do feel good that what we're building with Play Me 3.0, 4.0, whatever version we're on now, is it's a real team. And if anything, we have more cohesion than ever. And everyone's working super hard on their own careers, and it's elevating all of us.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've always got hope that what we're doing eventually will become attractive enough that someone will want to be that. Because I know a lot of other, like someone like Disciple, like they came in, they basically like they out us. You know, with all the dubstep and stuff, like those guys, Dodge and Fusky were some of our earliest signings, and then they eventually ended up starting their own label. But they're super like business minded dudes in a way that I've just never been. I am not a business person, like straight up. That's never been my focus. I'm a weird art person. I only ever started a label because someone presented me with the opportunity to do it in a way where I wasn't going to have to deal with the business aspects at first.
Right.
And eventually I did have to deal with it because the guy I started the label with was kind of a ding dong. And he brought me on to do the A&R. He was like, this will be your label. I'll do all the back end. You just do all the A&R and art stuff and it'll be cool. But then immediately he started saying, oh, we need to sign this. We need to sign that. And I'm like, bro, you don't even like this kind of music. So please don't give me suggestions of stuff because you don't like this music. So what you're suggesting is actually terrible. And he was like, no, I gotta do it. And then when he didn't like that, I didn't like his suggestions, he kind of just stopped talking to me and he wasn't putting the releases up. And I had to go to our distributor and ask them, like, hey guys, homie, like, hasn't responded to me in almost 2 months and we haven't put a release up. And I know that if we don't meet our Beatport at the time, you had to meet a minimum or you couldn't stay on Beatport. I said, I know we're gonna... we're in danger of being kicked off of Beatport. So if you could just please let me have the back end access so I can put the releases up. And they said, we actually think this guy is kind of a shit as well. So we don't like dealing with him either.
Wow.
So yeah, sure. Here you can have all the stuff. And I don't even think he noticed for a while.
Yeah.
And then probably 6 months to a year later when everything was doing really well, he just kind of came back around and was like, damn, I shouldn't have been such an asshole.
Well, it was a happy ending.
Yeah, he's not a bad dude. He's just stubborn.
Yeah.
And he lives in Oklahoma and doesn't really give a fuck.
Well.
So.
Yeah. Shit.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah. What do you want to do next with the label?
I mean, ultimately, what would I like to do next? I'd love to get us on tour.
Yeah.
I'd love to be able to have the kind of respect and brand recognition that a lot of these other entities are afforded. Mm-hmm. Just doing label takeover nights and doing tours and being asked to do remixes, because people love what we're doing as a label.
Right.
I mean, we've tried to do that with a bunch of other labels where we'll just kind of say, hey, if you guys ever have anything,
right, do swaps.
Like our dudes would be happy to do it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it would be nice to, get a seat at a table as an outsider, but be forced, have someone have to be forced to let us sit down because you can't ignore what we're doing.
Well, you know what you can do? I just realized this because your main artists also work at the label.
Yeah.
For the most part. You can take the label on the road.
I mean, we could.
You quite literally can put everyone in a van and just go.
We surely could do that.
And I think you could actually build a fair amount of buzz doing that too, because from a PR move, it's actually kind of cool.
There's a lot of logistics in between.
Yeah,
cool idea and reality.
I know that. I'm just, sometimes.
I did a tour like that when I was super young.
Yeah,
and it was brutal as a 19-year-old. Like I can barely imagine what it would be like now.
Yeah.
In a van with a bunch of dudes. Like it was just me and 4 or 5 dudes in an RV.
Yeah.
And I got the shittiest bed. I never got to sleep in the hotel rooms. I barely got to shower.
Well, this time you'd get the showers in the hotel rooms.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'd have to do my yoga.
Yeah. So
all my
fine.
Stretching. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe we'll figure that out and get a fire under our asses to do something like that.
Because that'll get you attention.
But I just can't. I don't know how. All of our dudes are really kind of like ornery, like routine kind of dudes. Me included. Mm-hmm. I don't know that everyone would be able to live with all the disruption. Like nothing would get done.
The
label would probably, yeah, maybe.
You definitely learn how. Difference is, now everyone's doing it mobily.
Yeah.
The only thing that probably won't happen is much music making, which is fine because you're going to be playing music.
Yeah. Maybe. I mean, we'd have to like plan that out to like stack all the releases so we had enough releases to come out while the whole thing was happening, and then some for after, so that when they were able to make the music again, that there was still music coming out.
Yeah.
But, you know, everyone's been working pretty quick and stockpiling stuff, so it's possible.
Just saying.
It could happen.
I'm of the mindset, if they won't let you sit at the table,
I mean, yeah.
build your own table, and you can try to burn theirs down while you're at it, but, you know, just build your own.
For sure. I mean, it's not a terrible idea. It's just a lot of many kinds of work that I don't think any of us really are that stoked about doing. Like, booking shows is really difficult. Trying to book something that's routed in a way that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Just even as an independent person doing my own bookings, it's really hard. Like, people that I've worked with, I can't even get people half the time to pay the deposits. I'm like, you know, you signed this contract. It says you have to pay the deposit. If you don't pay it, we're going to have to re-sign the contract at the time that you can. Because we can't, now it's invalid.
Right.
You know?
Now I'm not buying a flight
I can't buy a flight until you pay this deposit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm really good at that. I could definitely do it. I'm really good at logistics, and I'm really good at figuring out super annoying things. I don't know if that's an enviable skill or not, but it could happen.
I think it's a necessity. Not everyone is good at that, and we need people like you for it.
Yeah. I mean, if this whole DJ thing doesn't work out, I could always be a travel agent. Or a vacuumer.
That was Reid Speed. Check back next week for the second part of the episode with Reid. We go into her backstory, her upbringing, her childhood, all the things that eventually led her to becoming an artist, a label owner, a DJ, and all the various hats that she elegantly wears.